back to a very special episode of Pack in Action. I'm Ashtyn Butuso, and with me, as always, is
the loser of the Pack in Action Bowl.
Oh,
Yay.
No. Surely you have other accolades. Let's not only focus on the side. With me, as always, is Emma Weightman. How are we doing, Emma?
Living life, living the dream, chugging along. Happy to be back from break. I missed all of you so much. So
I know. It was weird not having a show after a big game, too, for some of us.
Yeah, how are you? Let's get into that.
I'm good. For Thanksgiving, I went to a cabin in the woods, and I was reading and staring at walls and not scrolling, and I feel very recharged and alive again, and like I'm able to be a human, which is really fun, and I recommend everyone should.
What are you reading?
I'm reading Another Country by James Baldwin, which is a banger. R.I.P. To the GOAT, and yeah, that's kind of my jam lately. So everyone just remember to kind of unplug and have fun. That's my weekly advice to you. We do have to talk about the game and football and sort of do a little wrap show here since our seasons are officially over, kind of, although Cougs still firing.
Yeah, we'll have a game. A bowl game where I don't know exactly. Rumor on the street per CBS that I read is that it might be the Las Vegas Bowl. Again, I read that on CBS.com. Don't come for me if that's not true. But I am holding out hope for the Snoop Dogg gin and juice or the Pop-Tart Bowl. Give me Pop-Tarts or give me death if we have any Eddie Izzard fans in the chat.
Yep.
So I would love either of those.
Yeah. Hard agree. Upvote. It's very exciting. Some of us get to go to a bowl game. And we need to start actually 2 weeks ago, though, because as we mentioned, we didn't have an episode after the Pack in Action Bowl because of the holiday. So let's start there. The Pack in Action Bowl.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So do we have to talk about it?
We do, because speaking as a fan of a team who had a 4-game breakdown midseason, I do think it's important. I think we need to kind of just do a wellness check, vibe check, talk about the result, all those kinds of things.
Yeah, I mean, they're not the only ones that had a breakdown. So I'm kidding. I'm a very graceful loser. So
yes.
But it was a nail biter.
Yeah, so the game was neck and neck, obviously, down to the freaking wire. I was screaming, pacing the bar, freaking everyone out, of course, the first time I watched it, but I do not mind watching it again. So let's roll that highlight.
It has been a game that's been so anticipated
because both teams do have a lot to play for.
Jabari Johnson in on first down. And he makes one miss. He makes two miss. His first touchdown as an Oregon State Beaver. So now the Washington State offense again in its rhythm for the first time. Mateer hits Carlos Hernandez and he's in. Touchdown Cougars. And Mateer is being pushed to the goal line. Touchdown Cougars. There's a nice representation of Washington State fans here. No surprise. They have a juggling catch by Taz Reddix. Williams gets the ball outside and he has space. Williams is gone. Touchdown Cougars. Go Branson down the post. There's Jermaine Terry. Touchdown Beavers.
And this place is alive right now.
And there is Mateer rushing for the touchdown.
It's what a huge play on the defensive side of the football.
Back in the end zone, yes! Darius Clemens, 38 apiece. John Mateer is going to have enough time, 2:45 and 3 timeouts.
All right, 2 minutes left. Tie game. I'm in the bathroom of my friend's apartment. I'm very scared. I wish that I had one of those watches to check your pulse, and I hope you can hear me. I'm really tentative. I don't want to disrupt everybody, but I'm really nervous. I'm really happy for Ashtyn. And yeah, go Cougs, go Beavs, mostly go Cougs. Not sure how this is gonna go.
Okay, coming at Pack in Action live in the East Village in New York City. At Standing's my favorite bar. I watch every game here, but I'm feeling extra stressed this game because we're really in it. I'm surprised they're not using Mateer more. I feel like he's about to rush like 100 yards on us, even though I don't even know what the position is right now, but I still think he's going to get 100 even if they're on the 40. I'm feeling very stressed. My heart is racing, and I'm just happy to be here. You know, I'm just happy to be in it.
On the slant inside, it's Kyle Williams, and he runs it out for a first down. Ball out.
After review is going to be Oregon State football.
A lot on the line here with 60 seconds to go. Walker running the cross. And it is caught by Walker. Pretty much going down on the 45. See, tell me this is 55. On the way.
It's good.
On the way. It is good. And they start the lateral stuff. There's some flag down, by the way, in the middle of the field.
That penalty is declined. Game is over.
This is why we love college football.
I'm walking home. I had to leave right away, so I didn't get to celebrate, but that was not real. I don't live in reality. That was crazy. That was not what I expected. And we're still buddies, but we did win. And Emma just Venmoed me $15 because she's a sweetie. And sometimes life's okay. Let this be a message to everyone out there. Sometimes life is okay.
Well, so what did you like about our game between our special little guys?
Okay, so I got to hand it to Coach Bray. He really seemed to get the guys ready. I think senior night helped. I think being at home helped. Mm-hmm. I think the Dickert soundbite was probably played a lot in the locker room, reminding them that Wazoo claims they would have left just like anyone else would have. I think they probably used that as motivation. That could not have hurt. I think the play of the game was obviously the forced fumble, as we saw, recovered by Jaden Robinson, who we love. And I got to shout out Ben Gulbranson for having himself a game too.
Yeah.
Good stuff on my side. There was also good stuff on the Cougs side.
There was. We're never without a glimmering, beacon of hope in there, whether we seize it or not. I will say also, speaking of, I did promise the internet that I would be in Beavs gear for this episode, and I forgot to do that. So I'm sorry. It was a holiday weekend, and I was going to Amazon Prime a shirt, and then I thought that our producers and Ashtyn would be mad at me for doing that. So I'm happy for the Beavs. I'm really excited to move on.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
I love that it seemed like you were going to have a good excuse, and it was just I forgot.
I just forgot.
Hey, sister, we all been there.
I'm only human, as Christina Perry would say.
Okay. I don't know who that is. Should I?
It's a singer. We'll talk about it later.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later. Up next, we're going to talk about the last games of the season, and we're going to give out some team awards, so stick with us.
And we wrap up the regular season at Giesa Field in Pullman, the Washington State Cougars and the Wyoming Cowboys. They go back to the far side, inside Kyle Williams, gone! 13th touchdown of the year for Kyle Williams. Schlenbaker in to block again, and Mateer, his 15th rush touchdown of the year. Svoboda launches, back there is only a Cougar for the pick. Svoboda breaks up, no, ball free. Scoop, and there's the Washington State defense. Here we go, 4th down. Throwing for Gillenborg, he's got him, touchdown Wyoming. And Mateer launches one for Williams, juggling, a catch, let's see.
Yes.
Is that a catch? It is ruled a catch.
After review, the ball was bobbled. The receiver did not complete the catch until he was out of bounds.
Mateer's got a launcher all the time in the world, and there's the pick that is going to win the game for Wyoming.
Well, that was so fun. I loved that. I'm definitely not going to have nightmares about that. I think that they just wanted me to catch up to all the suffering that you have had to endure this season.
Yeah.
So it hasn't been fair.
There was a clear imbalance of suffering happening. So welcome. At least we didn't have to watch Boise State highlights because we know that was not a close one for the old Beavs.
No one needed to see that.
It felt close for a second. Like there were bright spots, and then it really broke open, and it was okay. You can't score, so you can't. You got to score.
I think we should look back on the more general season, the happier times for both of us.
Nice deflection, sure.
Yeah, thank you. I'm known for that. But there's still a lot to be thankful for the Cougs, and a lot to be happy about, and a lot of good memes. We did both of our defensive coordinator was relieved of his duties, and our offensive coordinator is going to Oklahoma. So wishing them well. Not really shocked about either of those moves. But I think there was a lot to be happy about and some stuff to be sad about. Ashtyn, what are some ponderings and reflections that you have upon your season?
I hate to be a broken record, but regarding our coaches, Coach Bray and Gundy, I think that they did a good job with what they had. I think that we'll continue to see, them get better and better. And I'd say that one thing I'm just sort of wondering about is what the receivers might be like next year. Obviously quarterback as well, but I'm kind of just like putting that out of my mind altogether because I can't really deal with that right now.
Yeah,
and then also I'm just wondering which players are coming back because it's like you can't even think about the future until you deal with the transfer portal, which is looming.
Is it ever so? Well, since we don't know any of that, we can tell you about what we do know, which is we are about to drum roll. I can't make drum roll sound with my thank you, Ashtyn. It's time for the 79th presentation of the Pack in Action Awards presented by Ashtyn's dog, Joni.
Wow. Yeah. Thanks, Joni, for the sponsorship. Also, can you believe we've been doing this for 79 years?
No, and we don't look a day over redacted. I'm going to kick things off. We could go, I'm, just going to breeze past it. Offensive MVP, obviously, John Mateer. Honorable mention, Wayshawn Parker, our good personal friend.
Sure.
Defensive MVP, Kyle Thornton, the stop heard around the world the last time that I felt joy personally. But I have a special award that I'm calling the Missed Connections Award, which is going to a player that had we had more time with this season to chat with him, I would have loved to have him on the show. So next season, I'm sure he's going to be continuing to be excellent. So I'm putting my request in now. Buda Alukta, please come on the show. You are so talented and perfect and fabulous. And I just wish that we had gotten the chance to chat. So next year, stay tuned. My final award that I'm giving out is the Unlucky Charm, and that's going to go to Cooper Mather's underwear. I'm so honored that he shared that with us. I hope that it doesn't give him trust issues going forward because he shared such a vulnerable sentiment and then literally everything unraveled, potentially like the fabric of the underwear. So
yeah, Cooper brother, change the underwear.
Yeah. Your turn.
For me, I'm going Depoy, Skylar Thomas. I kind of regret not having him on the show, especially just like looking at his season holistically. He had a great game against Boise, and I feel like that got sort of buried because it was
Boise
great overall.
State. Yeah.
But he had 81 tackles. He was our he led in tackles, and he had a pick. I think he did a great job. He struggles maybe a little bit in coverage, but he does a good job getting pressure. And I'm gonna keep keeping on with Skylar and continue to watch him shine. My next award is one that I'm very excited about, even though it doesn't actually mean anything really. He's just my little guy. And if you follow me on any social media, all I ever do is tweet about how Anthony Hank is my little guy. I just love him. He was such a joy on the show. He was also just such a baller. I mean, he finished with 1,082 yards, which is friggin' banging. He said he's coming back, which is huge. Although I have been burned by running backs saying they're coming back before, so I'm only half believing that. But he's my little guy. Next award is my Utility Boys Award. This goes to anyone who had to play both ways, offense and defense, because of the injuries that plagued the Beavs so intensely. Obviously, Andy Alfieri, friend of the show, and there were a few more.
Family friend.
And family friend, sure. When in the club, we're all family, though. Next award is my player to watch / I'm just praying he doesn't leave us award. That's Darius Clemens. I swear this guy is going to be so good. I'm just going to keep an eye on him. He's our best receiver, I swear. He had a great game against Boise, 123 yards on 8 receptions. So
crazy.
Love him. Finally, the MVP award goes to Bernice Beaver, who came out of hiding for after 40 years and then was engaged all of a sudden to Benny Beaver and tweeted us and said, we're planning her bachelorette party.
Yeah, can't wait. I'm thinking Reno. No
I
pressure, though.
support Reno, America's
pressure,
biggest
though.
little city, and also where our producer Rich had his bachelor party. So
Yeah, fun
good things
fact.
happening in Reno.
Mm-hmm.
I think we have a shared award next. Would you like to talk about that?
Yeah, we're coining it the Please Pipe Down and Let Them Cook for 5 Minutes award, and we're presenting it to both of our fan bases.
And actually every fan base in America. Let's be clear about that too.
Yeah, you're so correct. Because I just think that, well, and you can attest to this a little bit more personally than I can. Do I love that we kind of fall apart the last couple games of the season every year? No. But I just think we got to trust the process a little bit more, and that I completely understand investing your mental health into your sports team. Believe you me, do I ever. But I think it might be time to take a little bit of a calming breath.
Yeah, I think we just need to remember that coaches shouldn't have to win 10 games in their first year. That's never been the case. And just because we're all more stressed out because we're losing players left and right and, all these crazy realignment things that are happening does not mean the coaches have to win 10 games now. Like, that's not, we can't just raise the bar for no reason. So we need to give coaches time to breathe. We need to give Trent Bray time. We need to give Gundy time. We need to give Dickert time. We need to give all of these people time so that they can actually have success. I will remind you again that Jonathan Smith did not have a banner year his first year. And that's just physically impossible.
Yeah, this is Trent Bray's first pancake, because the first pancake is always a little bit of a flub. And then the next one is so fluffy and perfect, so much so that I'm sure Wayshawn Parker will be just want it for breakfast.
I did not know the metaphor, but I really appreciate that's a perfect metaphor. So anyways, that kind of wraps up football, I think. We're going to talk other sports next. Maybe some highlights, maybe some wins.
Some basketball, perchance?
Yeah, stick with us.
Hopefully.
Welcome back to Pack in Action. I think maybe we've said all that we need to say about football at this point. We celebrated wins, we mourned losses, we now look to the stars for a brighter future. So let's do a little reset, shake off those football vibes, and let's talk hoops. As is true for everything college sports this year, I would say, things seem to be confusing with the teams.
Yeah, I mean, what isn't confusing in this day and age? You know what I mean? Girls, so confusing. We are nearing the end of non-conference play, which is exciting. And just a little reminder, obviously we are so tuned and locked into all the conference switchings arounds, but in case that's not, how it is for everyone, we are full participants of the WCC this year. So
yes,
keep that in mind as we move forward. But it seems like an overarching perspective, both men's teams doing pretty well. Both women's teams, maybe a little bit more maturing is left to be had, but that's okay, because women famously mature later than men. So wait, that's not true at all.
I don't think that's science.
But for this show, it is. So Ashtyn, actually, if you could just enlighten me kind of on what's going on down in Core Vegas, because I have been a little wrapped up in my own little guys. So
yeah, okay. Well, let's look at the women's side for a sec. Our 3-5 Lady Beavs at the time of recording this, they just beat Grambling, which is huge. There's so much to say, but there's also not a lot to say. Things aren't necessarily going well. We are not who we have been in the past, which we knew was going to happen. My question marks sort of are all like surrounding team chemistry and how that's going to continue to build. Honestly, it all just kind of makes me bummed for Scott Ruick, who has worked so hard to build this amazing program, and I know he'll do it again, and I really want to have him on the show at some point. But he doesn't have an easy hill to climb for sure. But there's some good. Sela Hyde is having a good year so far. With her help, we beat Boston College, which was awesome and huge and confusing. And Ruick mentioned that the defense kept them in that game, so I think if we can sort of tailor our identity to be a great defensive team, I'd be very happy with that. He mentioned also that they get better every game, which I think is like priority number one, just get a little bit better every game. On the men's side, it's also weird for the 5-2 Beavs, but good, but weird. We lost to Oregon in the last friggin' 5 seconds, despite being at home and leading the entire time. We lost to North Texas, which was confusing. And then we turned around and creamed UC Davis. So I don't know. All I do know is I'm giving a major donka to Michael Rataj, who is having a go, mate. As Nate Kings told us, he's their fearless leader, mentally and literally leading the team in points. Just shooting great averages. I mean, he's just kind of killing it. So Emma, how about for the Cougs? Anything more concrete happening on those teams by chance? Maybe some really exciting stuff?
Maybe, yes. I am excited, but I'm excited about everything.
Sure.
So I will say 7-2 start for the men. I'm starting it with them because they just beat Nevada, which was huge. I don't really have any further analysis on that other than, so just really thrilled. Isaiah Watts balled out, and I have always said that he is perfect. So I just love his success. And we were down some players that aren't healthy quite yet, so it looked like it was going to go way worse than it did, and it didn't. So I love that. I love to hear that. For the women, they are 4-4, but they had a really strong, I think, game against Virginia. They just showed a lot of grit, didn't give up. Eleanor Avila had a great game. Tara Wallach had a great game. So jot those names down. And yeah, they lost to Drake, but that happens to everyone except for Kendrick. So I'm not really too pressed about that. They play the Ducks right in between. So we're recording this on Tuesday. They play the Ducks on Wednesday. And then the world is seeing this on Thursday. So I'm going to give a reaction as if we beat the Ducks, which is, yeah, I always knew it could happen.
Yay.
And then a reaction if we lose to the Ducks, which is, boo, who cares? They're stinky.
It's always Boo Ducks around these parts, of course.
And we're just going to go ahead and give you a little reminder to check us out on the Pac-12 YouTube channel, Amazon Prime Video, or Samsung TV Plus channel 2392.
That's it for us today. That's it for basketball. That's it for football. We will see you next week when we're Pac in action.